Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We've got yet another new game debut on the channel today, as we're playing Spire's End Hildegard by Favro Ventures. This one looks to be an adventure game of some kind, with guided storytelling actually, and I bounced off of guided storytelling, but we're gonna give this a go anyway. We've got dice here, presumably for making shots. We'll hopefully make sense of that a little bit later. But let's jump right in. We've got one of our three starting cards here. Let's give these a very crappy shuffle. And we'll take that card. So this is where our adventure is going to start. Silver Cap. Finally, you've found something. Nestled at the base of a rotten tree trunk is a silver-capped mushroom. You're no expert forager, but this could be a good find. As you reach down to harvest the rare fungus, someone approaches. Hildegard, thank goodness I've found you. It's your first assignment, a delivery to Seacrest for the Baroness. Oyvind, another member of the Messengers Guild, hands you the package. I had half a mind to take it myself. I wish I was going to Seacrest, he whines. Gain 3 gold and 2 feats of marksmanship, and place the mushroom in the inventory. Pull cards 88, 89, and 90. Then either go to the mercantile or the mushroom or breakfast. Page 2. Okay. So we haven't gotten our character yet, but we do have an item card. So gain 3 gold, which probably are these. There's nothing here describing the components, I don't think. And 2 feats of marksmanship. I will bring those. We'll use black cubes for those. Marker. Okay, so looks like we've got the marker cubes here. So we pull cards 88, 89, and 90. So 88. I don't know if pull means to set them aside or remove them from the game completely. Let's see, here we go. Instructs you to draw a card out of sequence without advancing once you're finished with the pulled card. So it looks like we go through these first. Right? Pull 88, 89, and 90. So 88 is our character, Hildegard. We've got the silver mushroom. 89... Slingshot and Pebbles. This slingshot is your most treasured possession, carved from the heart of a 1,000-year-old pine. With this slingshot, you can roll the black wild shot dice at the end of a set. Place it in your inventory. I'm just going to put that down there so I can remember what it is. And then the card 90 is the mysterious package. You pick up the package and turn it over. It's wrapped in paper with some light markings here and there. You don't recognize them. As much as you would like to give it a shake, you don't. Well, not yet. Wonder if you will ever know its contents? For now, it will remain a mystery. That'll go in our inventory as well. So now that brings us back to the choice. Do we want to go to the mercantile or go to breakfast? I know if it were me traveling, I'd probably want to get something for breakfast first. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to breakfast next. Card number 2. The Hungry Hog. Before embarking into the wild, you decide a hearty breakfast at the Hungry Hog is in order. You haven't eaten since yesterday and your stomach is growling. Farfully, the barkeep, asks what you'll have. We have a choice of dried fruits and nuts, porridge and coffee, or bread and buttermilk. I'm going to go for dried fruits and nuts. So that'll send me to card 3. Nuts and Nibbles. Farfully gives you an extra helping of trail mix for the road. It's an assortment of seeds, nuts, dried fruits, and a touch of chocolate nibbles. Pay 1 gold for breakfast. Add the trail mix to your inventory. We can either ask Farfully for directions or get an early start. I'm going to ask Farfully for directions. That'll send me to card 6. Helping Hannah. Before you can wave down Farfully, Hannah, the establishment's owner, comes through the front door. She's struggling to carry a large burlap sack. You can't help but notice that the bag is wiggling for a bit. You offer to help. The two of you lug it out back to her herb garden behind the tavern. Hannah, what's in the bag? Or, what's the best way to the coast? I'll ask Hannah what's in the bag. I don't know. Well, yeah, we'll ask her what's in the bag. I was going to say, maybe it'll be... maybe a little goodwill will make her more talkative about either gossip or directions when we inevitably ask. The gig. Her face lights up. A dozen leaf fighter saplings. Gonna get some fights going in the bars with a few wagers. She pulls a small plant out of the bag. It has a nasty little mouth that snaps and bites wildly. You're a messenger now, yeah? I need to get one of these to a man named Rolf at the atrium in Crow Falls. You want the gig? Sure, I think it's on the way. Place the leaf fighter sapling in your inventory for 10, or a bite from that is fatal. No. Yeah, we can. I think it's on the way, so we'll add that to our inventory. That gets discarded, and we are going to card 10. Fast passage. Hannah, which way would you take to the coast? Hickory Hills would be best. It's just cornfields. The pass through Pointy Peaks is a bit shorter, but there are bears, and the bridge at Peak Falls has swept away in the rains. I'd avoid it if you can. Either way, the paths meet up at Blister Bridge. From there, it's a straight shot to Crow Falls. Best to enter town on the south side, less security. Try and catch a ride on a riverboat to the coast. Beware of river pilots, Madeline the Mad in particular. Come to think of it, keep an eye out around here as well. There have been reports of cloaked figures roaming the streets. You thank her for the advice. Continue on your way, card 16. Here we are, card 16 coming up. Forlorn Lover. As you make your way to the outskirts of town, you find Bartle, a pathetic fellow weeping on a lonely street corner. I don't suppose you're a good shot with that there slingshot, he asks, shoulders shrugged. You're hesitant. There's something off with this guy, but curiosity is killing you. You're darn tootin' the best. Go to 23, or it's just for looks. Sorry. Go to 52. Hang on, I'm going to take a drink here before I continue. I know when I'm playing a video game RPG, I usually try to do all of the side quests that I can, especially early in the adventure. Because that gives you a lot of it gives you a lot of the tutorials for one thing, and another, again, maybe more experience. So yeah, we'll go ahead with you darn tootin' the best. That'll send us over to 23. Here we'll find Sweet Laura. Why do you ask? You reply reluctantly. I was about to give my sweet Laura a ring. We're destined to be married, but a pesky jackalope took it. They're attracted to this sort of thing. I had dropped it and, well, look. He points over in the bushes. Sure enough, there's a jackalope with a ring hanging out of its mouth. You rarely see jackalopes. There are not many in the area. Cute little guys. I will reward you handsomely, he says. I'll take care of it for 24, or it's bad luck to shoot a jackalope, 52. Well, I've got a terrible relationship with Lady Luck, so let's go take care of it. Over to 24. Card 24 says, Pesky Jackalope, accuracy 2, sets 1. The jackalope sees you, the ring twinkling in its mouth. It looks like it's about to dart away. Like a seasoned hunter, you line up the shot and take a breath. So this is our first time taking a shot. So the way we've got to do this, so it looks like our goal is to create a bullseye. From the looks of it, we have to achieve one bullseye, number of shot dice we can roll per set. Let's see, C is we can roll shot and wild shot dice on the target. And we get, what is that, 1 gold. Okay. We have a bonus reward of a feat of marksmanship if we get 2 bullseyes from the looks of it. Actually we get... Okay, so let's look at the card. This is actually a game jester called... Here, I'll bring up the box art. Spire's End Hildegard by Favro Ventures. From what I'm seeing, it looks like a choose-your-own-adventure game. If you remember the old choose-your-own-adventure games, this looks like the same thing, but it's on a set of cards. I actually got this when I went down to Illinois in the new gaming group a couple of weeks ago. So, let's see. So, the number of shot dice I can roll per set, so I get 2 of these, it looks like. I get 2 dice, and it looks like my goal here is to make a bullseye. So these have various faces toward eventually making a bullseye. So you want to be able to combine them together to make a bullseye. Let's see if we're able to pull this off. These are shot dice you can use to create bullseyes on this target. Okay, so we can roll... So that's what we can use to create bullseyes on the target. So let's see what we're able to do here. That's not going to work from the looks of it. So let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so shot dice. Right, so we rolled the two outside marks of the bullseye. Obviously, we're not able to make it there. Let's see, E is right. Let's see, so we need 1 bullseye to clear the target. Accuracy is the number of shot dice we roll, and how many times you can roll your shot and wild shot dice, so we only get 1 shot at it. Okay, looks like 1 wild shot die is selected and rolled at the end of each set. You can roll the black wild, which I believe this is the black wild shot die. It doesn't. The problem is the rule book doesn't really provide like a picture overview of. The rule book doesn't really provide a picture view of. Okay, you have the. Okay, this is what each one is for, but I'm guessing this is the black wild shot die. So that X probably means that it's going to be a total miss, if I had to take a wild guess. No. Looks like the blank is actually a miss, but it doesn't... That's a whoopsie. So one of my shot dice has got to be removed from play. So right now I've got no... Wait. I roll my 3 shot dice. Hold on. Now I'm confused. So, how many times you can roll your shot and wild shot dice on the target? So it looks like we only get 1 shot at this. Okay. So that completes set 1. Looks like we only had the 1 set, so it looks like we missed, which will send me over to card 32. Here we go. Card 32 says, break for the brush. The jackalope darts off into the brush. No! Laura's ring! The man falls to his knees, wailing like a baby. This is all your fault. You lost it. He shakes his fists at you. The red in his face intensifies. Right. This is all your fault. You lost it. He shakes his fists at you. The red in his face intensifies. He looks like it's about to pop. His head looks like it's about to pop. Where do you think you're going? We can either attack or run. Before advancing to card 52, roll any wild shot dice that we choose to run. If it's a bullseye, pull card 65. We already rolled that, so it was a whoopsie, which means we miss, so we're going to attack. I don't know if that means we're attacking the jackalope or him, but we're going to find out. 49. Probably means we're going after the jackalope, but let's find out. Uh-oh, this is a problem. So we've got Bartle after us now. I shouldn't have ever asked for your help, he yells. You're left with no choice but to defend yourself. So we've got 4 dice that we can roll. We get 2 sets at it. And we need to achieve, what is that? So we need to achieve 3 bullseyes to defeat him. So we get our 4 shot dice. Okay, we are able to make a bullseye. So that's 1 that we need. Let's roll our wild shot die. Let's roll our black shot die. So this is the... Wait a minute, there was something about finessing the shot, which I didn't see. Finesse the shot. When you roll the shot dice, you're required to keep only 1... Oh, as long as you lock in at least 1 die result. Okay. So we could have finessed the shot. Actually, we can finesse the shot, which is... Okay, so we locked in the bullseye. We're going to finesse and re-roll these 2 dice. Okay, I'm going to lock in this result. I'm going to lock in the middle result and then re-roll. Okay, so now I'm done with that. Now I roll the black shot dice. Okay. So we got the black shot die, which is another bullseye. So I've got 2 bullseyes now, and I need 1 more to defeat Bartle. So now we go into our second set. So we've got a total of 2 bullseyes, and now we're rolling again. Actually, I'm going to leave these dice over there. So 2 bullseyes total, and we need to roll 1 more. Okay, we'll lock in that result as our 3rd bullseye, and I don't think we even need to finesse the shot at this point. So we do get a hit. That'll go to 51. That'll send us to card 50. Here we go. Card 50. Here we find something sparkly. Your shot is true. Bartle yelps an impressive bump as an impressive bump begins to swell on his rosy complexion. Please, I'll go. Please don't, he cries. Bartle retreats with what's left of his dignity. To your surprise, you see the ring sparkling on the ground. You pick it up before the jackalope must have dropped it. You pick it up before anyone sees it. Place Laura's ring in your inventory. Time to go. 52. 52. Here we are. And it looks like with our character art, let's see what happens here. Good fortune. As you cross Main Street and head west, you hear someone calling your name. Hildegard, it's all around town that you're carrying something of interest. You need to keep your eyes open and watch your back. It's about time you had a reading, suggests Marin, the local renowned fortune teller. Standing in the dark doorway of her gypsy cottage, she urges you forward with a wave. Okay, please don't curse me, to 53. Okay, as long as it's free, 54. Or I want nothing to do with her, 59. Let's go, okay, please don't curse me, over to 53. Over to 53 says, curses. Sit down and relax, Hildegard, she says. Candles ignite as you take a seat. Between the 2 of you is a smoky yellow crystal and some gruesome knickknacks, probably to set the mood. Other curiosities are hanging from the ceiling. Skulls, shrunken heads, and foul liquids oozing out of jars. Are you relaxed? Are you ready? Ready for what, you ask? Good, let's begin. The surrounding candles blow out and the air grows cold. I don't like this. 55. Yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous myself. So let's see what we get from card 55. Madame's rules. Marin raises her hands, and the dull yellow crystal on the table begins to levitate. Marin's body splits into 3 astral projections. Pull and shuffle cards 56. There are 3. Place all 3 face up in a row. So we need cards 56. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so Bartle should be over in the discard pile. I'm going to try to put these in something resembling order. So when I go to organize these... Okay, so we pull and shuffle cards 56, and then pull all 3 of them face up. Actually, I'm going to shuffle these behind my back. Okay. I'm trying to do this without cheating. Okay. So these are 3 Marins. All 3 cards are treated as separate targets. You may attack them in any order you choose. Roll shot dice normally on all 3 targets. If one is defeated, flip that card over and look for a dot in the bottom right corner. If it's there, it's the real Marin. If not, it's an illusion. The encounter ends after finding the real Marin by seeing the dot, or failing to find her after shooting at all 3 targets. And a note, only one player may roll on each Marin's test card. After Marin's test is complete, continue below. Pass, reveal 1 of 2, or fail. Alright, we might as well work from left to right. So we've got 4 accuracy and we get 2 sets. We need 3 bullseyes to defeat each one of them. So, let's go for... Actually, I'm going to use the Night Cthulhu Flux token to mark off which one I'm rolling against. So we'll roll this one first. Okay, we'll lock these 2 results in to make a bullseye right off the bat. Then we'll finesse the shot and re-roll these 2. We can use the blacks to make a bullseye. We'll lock that in and try to roll another half a bullseye. Which we don't get, but we get the black shot die. Okay, that's a miss, so we do have 1 bullseye. We'll roll the other 2. We'll roll our second set. I'm going to lock that die, and then roll the other 3 to finesse the shot. Okay, that'll give me a second bullseye, and then I'll re-roll these 2. So I'm still finessing the shot. I'll lock that in and try to get the loop around. Which I don't get. Actually... yeah, I don't get that. So I roll on the... So I'm going to roll the black shot die, see if I can get another bullseye. That's a 3rd bullseye, so this target's defeated. And on the back of it, we're looking for the dot. Which we're looking in the... Where did it say we were looking at? The bottom right corner. So on the back of the card, there's no dot here. We'll put that one to the side and we'll aim at this one next. Okay, I will lock in that die and finesse the shot on this target. Okay, locking that die will give me a bullseye. And we'll finesse the shot with these 2. We'll lock that die, try to roll the rim of the target. Which we get. So that's 2 bullseyes on that target. And the black shot die gives me bullseye number 3. So, this one's the dot. So we found the real Marin. So since we found the real Marin, that sends us to card... That sends us to card 57. And it looks like there's 1 of 2 of those. 57, there we are. So we'll shuffle these up. And we'll reveal the one on the bottom. So let's see what we find here. We did find the real Marin, though. Okay. So that's 56. This was 55. Okay. So here's what we find on 57. Encouragement. The illusions of Marin fade away, leaving her seated across the table. Very good. Your heart is strong. Let that and your strength guide you forward. I am confident you're the right person for the task, she says with finality. I want you to have this. Pull card 87. '87 is Mark of the Grizzly. You can't say for sure, but you feel stronger. In some instances, going forward, you may be able to use the Mark of the Grizzly ability, placed in your inventory. Then, we're back here. What is this card with the bear, you ask? Just a bit of encouragement, a reminder of the strength you have inside. Now listen, my sight of the days to come is limited, but I do sense some things. Trust only those who have earned it. Don't be fooled. If I can aid you more in the coming days, I'll find a way. Good luck. Pull card 83, then. So we need 83. There we are, and I'll get 59 ready because that's where we're going next. So we want 83 first. Farmer Fastolf. While going over Marin's cryptic words, you wander through the farmer's market. Fastolf, a local pig farmer, catches your attention. Hildegard, have a moment? I know you're headed to Crow Falls. I have something I need you to do. Why does everyone know where I'm going? Here's 5 gold. Give this to Gylfie. He knows what I want. His stand is near Crow Falls Town Square. I trust you to do this. Gain 5 gold. Place this conversation in your inventory. Return to the story card. So we get 5 gold. 3, 4, 5 on the Farmer Fastolf. And we'll put it there. Then we head to the edge of town to card 59. Okay. So that brings us up here to card 59. Let's see what we find here. Rations. It's setting in. You're about to leave the Grey Oaks. Maybe one final stop at the Mercantile. To visit the Merc, pull cards 93, 94, and 95. Let's... we can check. We'll check it out. Even if we don't purchase anything at the end. 93, 4, and 5. Okay, our first card for the Merc is Grappling Rope with a price of 3. The rope has a sharp set of barbs on the end to climb up and down when hooked. Handy indeed. Next up, Chestnut Popper for 1. Brisket, the store owner, beams as you look over a nondescript chestnut on a leaf. What's this, you ask? A chestnut popper, handed over to me by mistake during a trade. You'd best not know the details. It can be used to... That sounds like it could be some kind of explosive ammunition. And an enchanted Boda bag for 2. Menso, the Grey Oak's best leather worker, has been crafting these for 50 years. Water placed inside will always remain cool and fresh. This one looks like it's seen some action. So that would bring me down to all but 1 gold. That would bring me down to 1 gold. The question is, are we honorable or are we a snake in the grass? Because Fastolf is asking us for some kind of help. So we've got quite the inventory right now. My instincts are telling me I'm going to wish I had at least water. So I'm going to spend 2 gold to buy the enchanted Boda bag. And we can move this over 55, 53, 52. Alright, so we will take the Boda bag, but we'll return the grappling hook and the chestnut popper back. Then back to our story card. You're approached by a shriveled-up woman who looks like a date left to dry in the sun. You there. You a fisherman, she asks. On occasion, you say, caught off guard. Well then, I know a place you can catch something for the both of us. A little fishing might not be a bad idea. Sure, show me the place to 60, or decline, I would rather fish alone, go to 63. Why not? Show me the place. So that's going to send me to card 60. You've got the touch. The partially mummified woman leads you across Edgewater Bridge. I've tried here. Nothing bites, you groan. I need someone with a strong arm and the right touch. Cast all the way out to those cattails. I can't reach them myself. She hands you a fishing pole. The lure is an odd black stone. It's heavy. Okay, here goes. Going over to 61. Over to 61. Yeah, right. We do have 4 sets, though. We do have 4 dice we can roll. We can use the black. We can use the black target, the black half bullseye, but we can't use the white ones. You take the beaten up fishing rod and give it a shake. It feels good enough, solid and balanced. You'll give it a try. And then we don't get to roll the black dice this time. We don't get to roll the black shot dice. Yeah, no. Actually, I think we add a... Do we add a... I think it's a choice of a colored shot die to add to it, right? Yeah, that's what it looks like here. Let's see, you can have up to... So it looks like it looks like we do roll the black shot die since we've discovered that one. Okay, that was a pretty terrible roll. I'll keep that. I'll keep the dot and the half of the circle, and we'll re-roll. Okay, that'll make a bullseye. But I think... Right, as soon as you lock in at least one result must be kept. I don't think I can even... So that's 1 bullseye. I don't think I can change the result out once I've locked it in. I'm going to go with no. So I'll re-roll the black shot die. Okay, that'll leave me at 1 bullseye. I'm going to grab something that I can use to track my bullseyes. This counter will do nicely, or this dial. So I'm at 1 bullseye. This is set 2. I'm starting to roll. Okay, there's a second bullseye. And the reason I know I can use those is because that's what's listed on the card here. So that's bullseye number 2. Then the black shot die, since I can't roll a bullseye. I can't roll a bullseye on one of the orange shot dice. This is set 3 that I'm getting ready to roll. Alright, I can keep the black half of the bullseye. I can't use the white in this case, but I will re-roll. Okay, there's the other half of a black bullseye, so we're up to 3. Then we'll re-roll. We'll keep that and roll again. Nope, we'll roll the black shot die. Oh, we'll remove that die since it's not useful. We've got 4 bullseyes and we're on our last set. Remember, we need 5 to complete the challenge. We can't use the white half bullseye, but we can make it from these 3 dice. So that's our 5th bullseye. We can't finesse the shots to get a bullseye off of there, but we do get the black shot die, or the black wild shot die. Which, that's our 5th bullseye, so we do catch the cattails. That sends me over to card 62. Card 62 says, the tin. The lure plops down into the water near the cattails. You feel a tug and the line pulls. You have it. Reel it in, she says excitedly. It doesn't feel like anything alive. More like a lost boot or a tree branch. You reel in an old tin. Give it here. The woman snatches it and pries it open. She dumps a handful of gold coins on the ground and begins counting. Yes, it's all there. She pulls off the fishing lure. This is yours for 1 gold. If you'll want it. If you pay 1 gold, place the magnet lure in your inventory. Okay, fine. We'll pick up the magnet lure. I'd like to catch an actual fish, go to 63, or I'm done fishing, go to 66. Let's see about catching an actual fish. If we're getting ready to travel, we're probably going to need food on this journey. So let's go to 63. Card 63 says, Tolog's tackle. You head down to the tackle shop to buy bait. You'll need it to fish. Tolog keeps a spare fishing rod for you behind the counter. Horsefly, free and one's in stock. Oh. Okay, so that's what those are actually for. Horsefly, free, 1 in stock. Whistle cricket, 1 gold, 1 in stock. Stinkworm, 2 gold, 1 in stock. Buy your bait up to 3. Take a cube of the associated color. If you're broke, horseflies are free. Place the fishing rod in your inventory. Okay, so we actually have... I'm going to grab a couple more dials. I'll use that to track bullseye. I'll use the island marker to track bullseyes. I should have 2 more in here. I've got a plains... Got a Marvel Champions dial as well right here. I thought I grabbed a forest dial at some point too. Hold on. Actually, I've got this counter as well, which I'll use. Oh, here's the forest dial. I knew I had it. It was just hiding on me. So we'll use the forest to track feats of marksmanship. That's at 2. The plains will be for gold. That's at 4. Okay, I think we got everything there. And we'll use the island dial to track targets. Well, I'm going to have to try to make some of this gold back, so I'll grab 1 of each. So actually I don't need those, but I will grab 1 of each, bringing me down to 1 gold. And then we'll go for... Where's the card that we were just looking at? Oh, yes. Fishing lessons will send us over to 64. That's in the inventory. That's why it's still here. So over to card 64, and we will find fishing lessons. Pull the 3 fishing cards. Pull the 3 fishing cards, shuffle, and place them face down. So those are cards 91 that we need. So I'll shuffle these behind my back as well. Since presumably there's going to be something happening on the back of these that I don't want to be able to see when I'm actually, I might be able to, I'll just shuffle them like this. Okay. And we'll set them out like that. Place one or more bait on the fishing spots you'd like to cast on. All bait purchased must be used. Roll as you would during an encounter and attempt to meet the conditions indicated on the fishing spot cards. If those conditions are met, you got a bite. Turn over the card. If the bait you use is listed, you have successfully caught a fish. So we'll do that, that, and that. We get 4 dice, but we only get one shot. We only get one set at it. So we'll start with the one we put the horsefly on first. Whoop. Come here. And we can only use the circle, the dot, and the half circle. So this die is actually useless for us because it's not listed on what we can use. The dot, however, is useful, so we can roll that. So we can block that and finesse the shot. We'll get the full circle, so we will roll, which means we do catch a fish here, but we have to see if the horsefly is listed here. Sunfish, it is listed. Okay. Alright. A sunfish will bring you luck. All players can now use the gray wild shot dice. During a face-off, only one wild shot dice may be rolled between 2 players. If caught, that one's placed in our inventory. So now we'll come over to the one that we used the stinkworm on. We'll keep those 2. And we'll finesse the shot on these 2. We need another half circle. Which we don't get, but I've got to lock in that die and re-roll. Which I get the other half circle. This is the one I used the stinkworm on. Let's see if we get anything from here. We do. We get the Star Surgeon. Great catch. A Star Surgeon will bring you luck. All players can now use the gray wild shot dice. Put that in the inventory as well. So now we're over to the last one. This is the one we used the whistle cricket on. And we get the half circle. Remember, we can't use the half circle with half dot, so we have to re-roll with the half circle. And we get everything we need. Actually, we get everything we need naturally to make the last roll. So this one doesn't work if I used the sturgeon cricket on, or the whistle cricket on it, so it didn't work. Which means we don't get the crystal bass. That would have given me the gold wild shot die, but we don't get it. Alright, so that's card 91. That's going back in. And then fish, then leave the gray oaks. That'll send me over to card 66. Card 66 says, Crossroads. The road ahead forks into 2. An old sign marks Hickory Hills to the right and Pointy Peaks to the left. Both will eventually lead to Crow Falls, and from there to the coast. But you're not sure which to take. A crow lands on the right side of the sign. Maybe the crow knows the way, but then another lands on the left, then another. They start to caw at you and ruffle their feathers furiously. These birds look angry. One of them leaps in the air into your direction. The crows attack 67 and 68. $67 and $68. Here we are. Looks like we need both of these cards. That can go back, and we've got, oh boy, we've got... Okay, this is new. So we've got our character card coming out. This is our hit meter card. In this example, Hildegard will roll 4 shot dice. Card navigation prompts. This next card to proceed indicates once the face-off ends, whether you win or lose. So the enemy... So we need 7 bullseyes to defeat the target, and the parts that are available to create the bullseye. Okay. Let's explain that. Hildegard's hit meter. Meter fills from left to right as the meter hits you. Okay, this is where you place a block for the square directly below it. Wait. Replace a block for the square directly below it. Right? Wait, what? Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense. It was a bit confusing. But... Okay. So we need the... Looks like we need block dice, or block cubes for that. So it looks like we're rolling this like normal. Okay. So now so it looks like we roll our sets until one of us is standing. So we get 4 hit accuracies 4, right? Yes. Right, so 4 dice against the crows, and we can use both of the half bullseyes, the half circles, and the dot. Which, okay, that looks like 1 bullseye. So actually we're cleaned out of... Okay, we've actually got 2... We're actually cleaned out of gold right now. We've still got marks of marksmanship. We'll lock that in. Actually, I don't think we can make another bullseye off of that result. No, we can't. Because there isn't a half circle with a full bullseye on it. So we have to lock those in, and we'll roll. We have actually also discovered the gray, and we also discovered actually looks like we discovered the gray wild shot twice. So I think we're going to give that a roll and see what happens here. That is probably a re-roll. Ricochet re-roll 1 shot dice. Let's re-roll this one because why not? Actually, we might need that to block potentially, but we're not going to get that. So we get 1 bullseye. And then the crow re-rolls. And then the crow is going to roll. So presumably if the crow's able to make a bullseye, if any of the results match the lowest numbered empty hit square, she's been hit and the square is filled. Okay, so they're rolling 3 dice. Okay, looks like that one will fill a... Looks like that one will fill a hit cube for crows of a hit. Yep, they get that. So I theoretically have a shot die I could use to block, but actually it might have been better to just keep the... Okay, so must be finessed until they can. So if any of the rolls match, she's been hit. Any roll results that can't fill until they run out of rolls to finesse. Okay, so they don't roll wild shot dice. So they hit with that, but then they need a... So now they need the black half circle, which they get, so they get another hit. We don't have the shot die available to block with it, so they've been hit, and What is tame? So we don't get the wild shot die on our next set. They're trying to roll a full circle. They're trying to roll the circle now. Wow, which they do. So we get hit 3 times in that first roll. Man, we just cannot get out of the way of our dice today. Okay, so we don't have... Okay, so actually I'm going to put the marks right on top. We didn't have any results we could have used to block. So I do need to keep an eye on the dots this time, because I could potentially use those to block with. But it's over to my turn next. Okay, I get another half a bullseye. I get another full bullseye, so that brings me up to 2. I'll finesse the shot. I will lock that result in and roll this. Okay, I can use that to block with. So once you've committed, place a marker cube above the appropriate hit score. So we will use that to block. So presumably what that means now is 1 hit gets canceled out, but if they roll it again... Yeah, so if they roll that again... Okay, so we got our 3 dice, and we're committing to using the initial dot as a block. Which they don't get, so presumably they have to lock one of them in. Yep, they always keep a roll they could potentially use in that set. So they will keep the... Actually, they can't use any of these, so I think they've got to lock in one of these. So they're just going to lock in this die and then re-roll these 2. Because nothing is kept... Because they can't use anything there. They can't use anything there either, so they'll lock that in and re-roll. And then they will hit with that, but since we used that to block earlier, we get to clear the block. Now back to us trying to make bullseyes. We can actually use our wild shot dice again. Okay, I'm going to lock... Actually, that's going to make a bullseye outright. That'll bring me up to 3 bullseyes. And I'll finesse these 2 for now. I might potentially get another bullseye, but I might also want to keep a dot for defending. Actually, I will make another bullseye there. So that'll bring me up to 4 bullseyes. And I'll roll the gray shot die. Gray wild shot die. Okay, that's a miss. So that's 4 bullseyes, but the crows are rolling. Okay, they will make a... Actually, no, they can't keep any of these. So I will lock in the circle and roll again. Okay, they will hit me twice with those. So that'll be 2 more hits. Because they can use the dot and the half circle. And a tame again, so I don't get the wild shot dice this time. Which is unfortunate. But I'm rolling again. I need 3 more bullseyes. Okay, there's another bullseye. So 5 bullseyes. We'll keep the... We'll use that to block... Actually, we can't use that to block with now because we don't have a square there. So I think we are locked in, and we don't... Remember, we don't get the shot dice, so we don't get the block... We don't get the wild shot die here. So now they're rolling. If they roll a dot and a wild circle and a semicircle, we're just defeated. Which, fortunately, they can't use any of that. So they will lock in a circle and just re-roll. They'll take the circle for a 6th hit. Now, if they roll just a half circle, we are defeated. Of course. That's the semicircle. So we do get defeated, and because where was the counter we were checking for? Right, here we are. Crow's attack. Oh, lose sends us to card 69, which is right on top. So let's see what happens here. Pecked. All you manage to do is make them angrier. You attempt to retreat, but more crows appear out of the sky and swoop down at you. They peck at you ruthlessly. Do you have the trail mix? Yes, I do. I thought I had I do have the trail mix. That'll send me to 71. '71 says, bird feed. The trail mix. Quickly you pull out a handful of seeds, nuts, and those delicious chocolate morsels and fling them into the air. They burst into a cloud of tasty snacks. The crows, confused but also hungry, turn their attention to the trail mix, leaving a fleeting moment to run like hell. Discard the trail mix. Escape going to 73. Well, that kind of went sideways on me. So going to 73. And before we continue, I'm going to look at 72 just out of sheer curiosity. Let's see what 72 would have done. Well, that would have been an ending. Okay, let's see what 73 does. Plucked luck. Free of the birds at last, you start plucking the pointy black feathers out of your hair and clothes. For a brief moment, you're able to sit in peace before you hear it. Something or someone is rustling about you, is rustling behind you. Do you have conversation card 13? Spoke to Oyvind about the minister. I do not. So card 74. So card 74. Rather suddenly, you're hit in the back by something hard and blunt. The blow knocks you over. You turn to see a scarecrow, not 10 feet away, hurling corn husks at you. This must be an enchantment to ward off those rabid crows. With all the feathers lying about, this one must be a little confused. Pull cards 96 and 97. Let's see, 96 and 97. Okay, we've got Corn of Chaos rules. Look out, the scarecrow is throwing corn missiles. Layout cards 75, 97, and 76 as pictured below. So this was... Okay. Hold on, 75, 97. Okay, looks like I need card 75 as well. Out of here, right here. So 75, 97, and 96. Wait. One more card I need. This is... Okay, I need 76 as well. Which is the Scarecrow. Okay, now that we've got that sorted out, I'm going to move that over here. Once again, we need 7 bullseyes to defeat the Scarecrow. At the end of each of Hildegard's turn 97 counterclockwise starts with Wild. Count each complete circulation of card 97 with a cube. For each circulation, add +1 to hit. The status effect listed will affect Hildegard's set. During your turn, you may opt to use any bullseye combination on the Corn of Chaos. It can be removed after 3 bullseyes. The face-off ends when Hildegard or the Scarecrow is defeated. Okay, so at the end of each of Hildegard's sets, turn card 97 counterclockwise. So it'll be Tame, then Flub, which is -1 shot dice, then hit on face-off, Hildegard's hit meter. Okay. Then we count each complete circulation of 97 of card 97 with a cube. For each circulation, add +1 to hit. What? Add +1 to hit. Okay, so it looks like we get. Okay, this is this is a little bit confusing. So layout cards as shown as pictured below, which I've done that. The end of each of Hildegard's turn card 97 counterclockwise. Starts with wild. Count each. So the status effect listed will affect Hildegard's set. Okay? So that part's straightforward. That makes sense to me. Count each circulation with the cube. So for each, add +1 to hit. Oh, so when we get that, so it looks like we have to defeat this quickly is kind of what I'm getting out of that. That makes, okay. I had to read that a couple times, but I think it makes sense now. So, I'm just going to check my email and all of that real quick. Okay. I think we're all set there, so let's get to Hildegard's first set. On the Scarecrow, we can use the white half bullseye, the half circle, the full circle, and the dot to make our bullseyes. We've got blocks on our hit meter above the single dot, the black half circle, and the second dot. So we need another black cube for that. So let's get our 4 dice and see what we're rolling. What did Wild say we can use? Wilders may reroll a wild shot on the set. Okay? Oop, let's get these. I'm going to get this. I had an extra die in there. I'm going to clear out before I start using that. Okay, that's a free bullseye. So we'll take that. 1 bullseye, we'll roll these 2. We'll take that and use this as a block, just in case they're able to re-roll like crazy. Oh, I get a wild. We'll roll the. Actually, let's re-roll this first, see if we can make another bullseye. No, I'm going to stick with that as a dot. But I will roll the gray shot die, which will give me another bullseye, so that'll bring me up to 2. And then the Scarecrow is rolling its dice. Okay, it gets the circle. So it gets the circle. And it runs headlong into the dot for the block. And then we'll re-roll. That's a circle, so it won't do anything on the next roll. And then that'll rotate that. So tame means we don't get to roll any wild shot dice this time. Let's see what we get here. We can't use the black half circle, so we'll keep the regular circle and we'll re-roll. Gross. We'll keep another circle and re-roll. This could be problematic. Actually, we could use some of that to block. Yikes. We get another circle. Nothing. Well, I'm going to use the black circle. I'm going to use the black half circle with half dot to put a block on number 4. Let's see what the scarecrows are doing, though. That one's cocked. They'll keep that. They'll keep a black half circle because they can potentially use it. Actually, they'll keep both of them. Nope. Then does the block go away between rounds? That's what I need to figure out. Do the blocks reset? Blocking is detailed on page 8. Oh, I can't block unless it's filled already. Okay, so I wouldn't have been able to block that. Once you've committed to using it as a block. Okay, it stays in place until they roll the next block. Okay. So now we're back to rolling our offensive dice. We have 2 bullseyes to their 1 hit. We can't use the black, so we will turn that into a... Actually, we rotate that. Flub is -1 shot dice on the next set, so we are actually going to re-roll that. Because I only get 3 dice this set. We'll keep the half circle with a half dot and re-roll. We'll commit to using the dot as a block, and then we'll re-roll. Nothing. We'll re-roll the gray shot die for a hope of a re-roll. Which we will get. We'll re-roll this half circle. And not get anything out of it. That's unfortunate. Let's see what the scarecrow is doing. So it will go through the... It'll get through the block, and then it'll still deal a hit. And then it'll roll. Now it needs the black half circle with a half dot. So it's looking for that face. Which it doesn't get. Then it rotates, so we put a cube on there, and I think we just get +1 hit out of that. Hit on face off. So yeah, looks like we just take a hit. Okay. Yeah, at least that's what I'm going to go with, that we just take a hit. Okay, so that'll give me a free hit, and I'll use that to block. Because that's the face that they're on. Actually, let's not do that yet. I will keep that, and then I will re-roll. Nope. So I'll use the gray shot die for a hope of a re-roll. Which I won't get. So that'll be 1 bullseye, but I've got no defense. And now they're back to looking for... Actually, hold on. Right. So we're still on their turn. So now we're on their turn. So they're going to use that black die to hit me again. They'll keep the dot because that's what's coming up. That's coming up in 2 rolls. So if they roll a half circle, they're going to hit me again. They're going to hit me twice. Fortunately, they don't. So that'll be it for their turn. We'll rotate this over to wild. So this time we are able to re-roll our wild dice. We can't use the black circles. We can't use the black half circles. Actually, we are rotated up to tame, so we don't get the wild shot on this next set. We'll keep that and re-roll. We'll get that and put another bullseye on the scarecrow, so we're up to 3. Then we'll re-roll. Or then we'll continue finessing the shot. which we will keep the circle, and we'll re-roll. Nope. So we don't get any kind of defense out of that, and because we're on tame, we don't get the wild shot. So over to the scarecrows. They're looking at half circles and dots here, which they don't get any of those, so they'll lock that aside. Nope. That was a half circle with a dot. So they're re-rolling this one. Wow, 3 half circles with dots. I don't mind that at all. Flub is -1 shot dice on this set. So we're at 3 bullseyes. We need to make some headway here quickly, which we'll take that for a start, and then we'll re-roll. That's a circle which we can use. Gross. Another circle because we've got to lock something in. Wow. We'll use the gray shot die for a hope of a reroll, which we will not get, so we'll get absolutely bubkiss out of it. We're over to the scarecrow's turn. Nothing there. They'll keep the dot because that's something they could use if they roll a half circle here. Which thankfully they do not. They roll the half circle with a half dot, so we get away with one. But that'll rotate over to hit, so we will take another 2. So now we'll take another 2 hits. And unfortunately we can't block the half circle. We do get our full set of dice though. Yikes. So somehow we've got to make these targets and be able to survive. So that'll make a bullseye. That'll bring us up to 4 bullseyes. And I'm going to roll the gray shot die. Well, actually I'm going to roll this one first. Hopefully get something I can defend with, but I don't, so I'll lock in a dot. Ugh. I'll have to take the dot away, which is very troubling. So I'm actually on hit. So I'm in a lot of trouble here because if they roll a half circle, I can't defend it. So I'll fail the encounter. Which there's your half circle. So we fail the encounter. Another bad day of rolling dice. That'll send me to 81. So 81 says, head for the hills. The scarecrow's attacks are fast and deadly. Another hit and that'll be it. Winded, you climb over the fence and race into the tall corn stalks. Hurled husks cut through the fields like a sickle. You dive down on all fours, trying your best to escape undetected through the stalks. Eventually, the enraged scarecrow stops the attack and goes dormant. It looks like the scarecrow has ultimately decided your fate. It stands beside the path at the pointy peaks. You aren't going to risk another attack for a mountain hike. Hickory Hills it is, 98. Wait a minute. Hickory Hills. Oh, it was chapter 2. So we're into chapter 2 already. So Hickory Hills for number 98. Sea of Stalks. It's been rather pleasant since the unexpected attack by the bloodthirsty, ravenous crows. The cobblestone road winds through a sea of cornfields. With every step, they grow higher and thicker. It's nearly a forest. You come to a point where the road splits. This time there's no sign to guide you. On your left, far off, in the distance is a campfire. To your right is a row of gas lamps hug the road. Use the compass if acquired, which we do not have the compass. So, that will send us either to go right or go left. I'm going to go right with the gas lamps hugging the road. So that'll send me to 100. So card 100. And I will find the Hickory House. You follow the road till it ends not half a mile further. It leads to a charming log cabin and tavern. A man is sweeping the entryway. Hello, the name's Firthguest. Might I offer you some refreshment? I've just acquired an excellent ale from the Bardic Bluffs. Also, I've recently started a tannery if you have pelts to sell. Sounds great, you reply. Firthguest shows you into his tavern. It's a decent enough place. In the back, a man wearing a jester's hat drinks a tall, amber foaming pint. Firthguest will buy pelts for 2 gold each, except we don't have any pelts. We can either have an ale or greet the jester. I think we're going to have an ale after that journey, so 101. And here we find a pint. I opened the Hickory House last year. It's been slow, but I hired some entertainment to drum up business. They just came in this afternoon. A carnival of wonders. One of them is here now. He points to the jester drinking in the corner. We can either head back to the road or greet the jester. I think we're going to head back to the road. So 103. Tapered corn. You follow the path as it winds to the left, then heads due west. You can see much further now that the road is straight and the cornfields are tapering back. The hills spotted with trees and the mountains looming behind are a sight to behold indeed, right? Yes. You can hear music in the distance now, an eerie melody plucked on an instrument desperately in need of tuning. A single curl of smoke rises from the campfire like a lasso pulling you forward. Whatever's cooking smells tremendous. Head over to the campfire for 105. 105 says, a juicy hunk. The sun falls behind the hills as you reach a traveling stage. You've seen wagons like this before for carnivals and events in the Grey Oaks. An albino man sits next to the fire, strumming an instrument. Beside him is a fellow carny, a woman in elegant, weathered garb. They are too engrossed in the music to notice your arrival. On the campfire, the flames tickle a juicy hunk of meat on a spit. The smell is intoxicating, and you're hungry. We can either listen to him play for 107, check out the wagon 108, or pull cards 182 and 183 if we choose the option below to help ourselves to the meat. Given the way I've been rolling lately on my attacks, I think helping myself to the meat is an extremely stupid idea. That's probably a pretty easy way to get myself attacked. So I think I'm just going to listen to him play. (107) Campfire stories. You take a seat next to the fire. The music is fascinating, but you can't say it's in any way pleasant. Your tolerance wanes as the notes screech, but as an audience of one, you feel compelled to sit out of courtesy. You're from the Grey Oaks. I recognize your uniform. You deliver messages, right? I have one for you. The man takes a breath, then continues. Let them all know something's coming during the eclipse. We've nowhere to hide. The campfire leaps to the sound of his voice. For the first time, he looks at you. Would you like to see it? He asks. The female carny just stares. See what? See what? I think not. No. Or this should be rich. Sure. Yeah, this should be rich. We'll take a look. 112. Let's see what 112 finds. Smooth operator. The albino, trailed by the carny, walks over to the traveling stage. Have a look, he says. I make bad choices, you think as you peer in. The albino pulls the curtain and reveals 2 iron cages. A hooded figure in tattered robes sits huddled in the corner of one cage. You can't make out a face, but something is sticking out above its forehead beneath its hood. The other cage appears empty. Watch! The albino starts to play the hypnotic music again. The thing sticking out atop the prisoner's head begins to glow. What is this? 119. Uh-oh. We might have just made a really bad decision here. 119 says, the albino and carny seize you from behind and drag you up on the traveling stage where they toss you in the empty iron cage. The woman locks the door with a key. She sets the key down just out of your reach and joins the albino as he searches your bag. Let's see what we have here, she cackles. Do you have the magnet lure? You suddenly remember the magnet and fishing line in your pocket. This could be your ticket out of here. I think we do have the magnet lure. Lob the magnet lure at the key or use brute strength to free yourself. We are going to lob the magnet lure at the key for 121. "121 says, the iron cage key. Quick, get the key while they're busy searching your bag. We've got so we need 3 targets, 3 bullseyes. 4 would give us a bonus marksmanship, bonus feat of marksmanship. So we've got 3 shots. Actually, we've got 2 shots to get 3 bullseyes on it. Uh-oh. We can use the half bullseyes, the full circle, and the dot. And we need 4 dice. Actually, no, we get 3 dice for this. Okay, there's the... We'll take the half bullseye and we'll roll again. We'll finesse the shot. There's a half bullseye, so we're up to 1. And we can't roll anything off of that, so I will roll the gray shot die. And that won't do anything for me. So I've got 1 bullseye, and I've got one more shot to get the last 2 bullseyes I need. There's a half a bullseye. Excuse me. Nope. We'll keep that. Nothing. So we'll use a gray shot die, even though we can't make this in any way. There's a bullseye that would bring me up to 2, but that won't be enough. So that'll send me to 126, which is probably going to end up with either me losing everything or potentially an end. When I get my experience, when your character gets locked in a cage, nothing good happens from it. So 126, that was a miss. So 126 says, my moose meat. The magnet lands with a thud just short of the key. You start to reel it back in when there's a crash from outside. Your 2 captors stop digging through your bag and leave to investigate the disturbance. Crows have knocked over the meat spit on the fire. A flock of them is making quick work of their slow-cooked meal. Not my moose meat, the albino yells. This could get interesting. 127. Let's hope we don't end up with getting attacked by another group of crows. $127. Unfortunately, we're still locked in the cage. Overcooked. The albino steps up to the edge of the fire and swats at the birds pecking the searing meat. A crow lunges at his face and he loses his balance. Crackling ash bursts through the air as the albino belly flops into the sizzling hot coals. The woman rushes to his aid, but doing so while being assailed by diseased crows has its shortcomings. She quickly becomes the fire's next victim, but she isn't the last. The fire leaps over into the fields. Good Lord, 129. Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going, as Philip Reynolds is probably stopping by. As Philip Reynolds is stopping by just in time for what I expect to be my character's grisly death. Lost without a key. You watch helplessly as the stage walls smoke and blister apart. Then a hooded figure approaches. It has a reptilian face and crimson eyes. The creature unlocks the cage with the key, then waits. Timidly, you exit. As you do, the reptilian grabs the package from your messenger bag. Discard the mysterious package. Okay, so this isn't going to end up with a grisly death like I expected, but that was my experience. Shoot at the reptilian for 130, or at the package to 131. Shooting at the reptilian is probably going to get me attacked. And my attacking has not been that good at all, so I'm going to shoot at the package for 131. I think there was something in there so this will probably agitate it. So 131 says, the package, oh boy. So 1 bullseye, we've got 2 dice, but we've only got 1 shot to get it. We can only use the dot, we can only use the circle and the dot. So let's see what we get here. We might be relying on shot dice at this rate. If we somehow get 2 bullseyes, we'd get a feat of marksmanship. Which, we're not going to make it there, so I will keep that and re-roll. Nope. We'll roll the gray shot dice. Or the gray wild shot die? Nothing. So that'll be a miss and send us to 133. So 133. Let's see what we find here. Freedom Wiggle. The creature dodges your attacks, then charges forward. It leaps from the stage, mowing you down in the process. Tangled in curtains and flames, you crash to the ground. As you unwrap yourself from the heavy curtain, you're relieved to see the package and no sign of the reptilian. The fire rages on. Place this moment and the mysterious package back in your inventory. Where do I go? 140. Let's see, 140. Wow, the story is actually continuing a little more than I thought it would. I was expecting me in a cage plus fire raging around me to equal grisly death for obvious reasons. Anyway, looking at 140 we find Blazing Corn. Panicked, you go over your grim options for escape. There's an unburned section of fields, but the fire's moving fast. Then there's the cobblestone road, but the flames are raging in the field on either side. Go to the untouched corn stalks, ride down the road if Mildred was acquired, Mildred was not, or take the road on foot. The fire's moving fast through the cornfields. Fire's raging on either side. Let's go into the untouched corn stalks, even though that's probably very flammable and very unsafe. So 141. As you're about to escape into the hills, into the fields, a man leaps out of the corn stalks. He's wearing a onesie and a jester's hat. Do I have conversation 102? Spoke to the jester. Yes, I've met him before, and no, I've never met him. No, I've never met him. 142. Who are you? The jester is understandably alarmed to see you here. Do I have the moose meat or the iron cage key? I didn't get either one of those, so that'll send me to 143. So we probably need either one of those. I'm looking for my colleagues. Did you see them? Big guy, pink eyes, woman, ruffled neck, he asks. I did, briefly. We were separated in the fire. Tell me, is there a safe path through the fields, you ask? Hoping he doesn't question you further. There is, but the fire's moving fast. We don't discard the conversation card. We're going to continue into the corn stalks for 184. Here's 184. Squeaky. You race through the burning corn stalks, the fire at your back. Thankfully, it doesn't take long before the smoke thins out, and the path leads back to the cobblestone street. Just as you start to think you might be out of trouble, you hear high-pitched squeaking. Pull card 185, then... So card 185. Here we are. Burning Bat. Okay, we've got 2 accuracy, 3 sets. So we've got 2 shots, and we can use the round, we can use the circle and the dot. Gross. We'll keep that. Finesse the shot. No. Rolling the gray shot die. That is a bullseye, so that'll give me 1. Here's our second set. We'll keep that and finesse the shot. Nope. Rolling the gray shot die again. We got to remove one of those, so we've got one last shot to get this. Keep a circle, finesse the shot, and we get it. So that'll give me burnt bat meat in the inventory. Then, you seriously doubt any delivery could be worth this amount of craziness. Amazingly, you're still alive and breathing. You catch your breath, then continue down the road out of harm's way. Unable to go any further, you find a soft spot on the side of the road, set up camp, and sleep. Rise and shine. Over to card 186. Let's see, 186. Here we go. Looks like we've got a new setting coming out. Blister Bridge. After a rough night's sleep on the side of the road, you find yourself in front of Blister Bridge, 3 miles of rickety rope, and wood planks draped over a series of ravines. At the foot of the bridge, there's a sign that reads, "Unsafe for heavy transport. Use at your own risk. Discard Mildred if you have her. You can fish if you have a fishing pole. You're able to find a whistle cricket and a stinkworm. Take your bait. We do have a fishing pole. So we get the whistle cricket and the stinkworm. We'll take our bait, pull the 3 fishing cards, then fish. So we get cards 195. We'll give these a quick shuffle. And we'll lay these out. We'll use the whistle cricket here and the stinkworm here. We're not going to fish this one, so we'll put that off to the side. We'll start on the one we're using the whistle cricket on. We get three dice and 1 shot at it. We can use every face on the die. Okay, we get the bullseye right off the bat. So we'll take the bullseye there. We used the whistle cricket here, and and it doesn't work. So now over here, we'll try to get a bullseye out of this, which we will also get right off the bat. And here we probably used the bait on the wrong cards. Prediction Orb. Place the Prediction Orb in your inventory. Before a target or face-off, you may place 2 shot dice on the orb above. If any 2 dice on your initial rollout match your 2 predictions, gain a bullseye on your target. Discard the Prediction Orb after it has been successfully used 3 times. Okay, so fish, then take the bridge on 187. Here we go. Uh-oh. Let's see what we find here. Behind you, as you make your way to the first of many bridge outposts, you take a look back at how far you've come. The entrance is still in sight. Someone's there now, stepping on the bridge with something in tow that looks entirely too heavy. You feel the ropes suddenly tighten. The section you're on rises as the balance of weight shifts. Continue on the bridge, 188. Oh joy. We're probably about to get ambushed on the bridge. So what do we say? 188. Yep. Alright, so card 188. Creeper. You can feel the movement of the other traveler behind you through the tension of the ropes. Whoever it is, they're gaining ground. It won't be long before you meet up, and more importantly, put all your combined weight on the same space. Confront the stranger, 189, or continue forward, 190. Let's continue forward. I have a feeling confronting the stranger is just asking for trouble. So 190. We'll find creeping closer. The morning wears on, and your casual pursuer slowly creeps closer. Exhausted, you stop again to relax your throbbing feet. The good news is you can finally see the other side, maybe a quarter of a mile out. Glancing back, you can't help but notice the person stopped the same time as you did, as if mirroring your actions. You can see now that they are holding something, and they begin to move it back and forth on one of the guide ropes. There's an unnerving sound as the rope begins to vibrate and the bridge starts to shake. Run like hell, 193. Uh-oh, that could be a problem. 193, here we are. The fall. You sprint toward the other side. You sprint toward the other side of the ravine as the bridge thrashes. There's a snap and the left guide rope breaks. You grab a hold of the bridge as the bridge swings forward and crashes into the cliff wall. You look down and see the man that had been following you plummet into the ravine. You climb up the now vertical bridge to a ledge. You got lucky this time. Enter Crow Falls 203. If that's another chapter, it doesn't look like it is, so 203. Maybe it is, actually. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. So 203, but since that's the start of a new chapter, I think that's where we're going to leave it for the time being. Oh, these are swap out cards. I think we're going to call it a stream there for the time being. We'll pick up at card 203 when we come back to this a little bit later. I want to get off my feet for a little while, take a breather. So we'll continue this a little bit later. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.